And the second season of Super Touring American style continues here still on the west coast of the United States. An easy journey for the teams. Might be an awkward journey for the commentary team, having travelled back from Interlagos. And we are seeing something very familiar to us at the front of the field, just not necessarily in the right order. It's an Alpha BMW front row, rear-wheel drive dominating the qualifying, with the previous race winner in class back then, the barn burner Volkswagen Golf P9 of Ryan Calbel, barn burner team Volkswagen Golf. This is a very traditional layout. In fact, not a lot has changed. In fact, the only upgrade you do see is the pit wall currently, the temporary team stands. But yes, this is familiar to those that have seen several racing films in the past. Not to mention one of the cars around here is one of Michael Swinnerton alongside me's favourites, the AC Cobra that you've seen in Ford versus Ferrari. You've still got an eye for one of those cars, haven't you, Swinny?
Yeah, but not the budget, unfortunately.
Is this a familiar surrounding for you then? Would you have raced around here?
I've never raced around here, no, personally. I've always likened this to the American Thruxton, if people know of the Thruxton race circuit in the UK. It's very similar in that. So yes, we'll have to wait and see what happens here. We've got a very familiarised rear-wheel drive dominance in qualifying, but can they hold on to it? That's the question.
Yeah, the Thruxton trait along the flat bits, but there is a hilly section to contend with as well. Turn 1 then coming up Castrol Corner. The rear-wheel drive's getting away as well. The P7 qualifying Alpha got traffic jammed by both the Mazdas there in 6th and 7th, but Suarez is challenging for 6th still. Seems to be a very clean getaway. And at the back, the 3M team still trying to get used to their surroundings in a familiar place altogether. Ignore the P20 timing. That is a technical glitch. But Newgarden leads then, Alpha's 2nd and 3rd as they hit the balcony.
Yeah, heading up the hill here, it's all very even Steven so far. Not much too wide action going on so far. We see Campbell trying to challenge or keep 9th place off of Leah Eversley there, who's got the preferred line. She's going to take that off him by the looks of things.
Yeah, Campbell falling back to 10th then as they enter the ridge. And onto the backstretch, the sweeper turn 9 coming up. Very hot weather here, so I think a lot of them have been very careful on their tyres, saving it for lap 10 and 11 on board then. Bortolotti.
Through the back section of the track they go. Again, very even Steven single file. Not many people have raced around here before. It's not an often used circuit. Estrie with a bit of a brave move, and he's managed to make it work. Slotted the Mazda in between the two cars in front.
And they're all clean through turn 9, the final turn. Very fast and flowing course then. Lap 1 complete. Newgarden still leads the BMW.
Eversley not letting this one go. Estrie's got that 10th place. Eversley wants it back, and there's a couple of others muscling in there. There's Jos van der Garde in the other Golf, having a much better time of things than he did round at Grand Valley. And there's Elliot Mayfield. Mayfield has been a bit on the struggle bus. He's far more used to rear-wheel drive, of course, coming from the Dodge factory team. Getting used to front-wheel drive and how it behaves around this track. So this has been a bit of a learning curve for him, which might explain why he's outside the top 10 currently, unlike every other manufacturer ride in this championship.
With a dust cloud up on the balcony, might have been one of the 3M cars getting ahead of one of the Ohio Motorsport Hondas. Mayfield then, yes. Big name, not necessarily going to do well in front-wheel drive in general, I suppose, but still waiting to be proven wrong by Mayfield through turn 9. Around the outside
there's a slide.
Goes the Bortolotti. Or was that?
That's Scott Hugh in the sister car there. Had a big slide going around the outside of the Ford Focus in front of him. This is what I was worried about with that back section, is the front wheel drives would just dip the brakes a little bit just to get a bit of extra rotation in the car, which the rear wheel drives don't need to do, and it caught Hume out, and he's now swamped in a gaggle of cars who are just desperately trying to be not last by the looks of things.
Meanwhile, De Ferran and Montoya look like they're closing in on Newgarden at the front. And also one of the Mazdas in Tagliani.
Yeah, Tagliani flying the flag for the front wheel drive brigade here, rounding out the top 5. Doing pretty well, all things considered. That car is of course brand new and relatively untested, and it's a novel idea using a crossover SUV in a touring car championship, but it fits the regulations, and it's on performance, it's on pace.
Just looks a bit tall, that's all.
It just looks a bit tall, just don't hit a barrier at a high speed.
And then this is almost everyone up to P8 in the same shot. Bookending that pack is Stuart Wickens, ahead of Campbell, then getting 9th place back that we saw a glimpse of earlier. Top 5 then in a string, Castro Corner.
It's in a string, but it's starting to look like a bit of a wiggly string as people start having a look at trying to take places off of each other. De Ferran then filling up the mirrors of Newgarden. There's a pair of rookies, of course, first and second. Both of
The left-hand side tyres are going to take a pounding around here, aren't they?
Oh, yes. Nobody really trying anything just yet. Tagliani making use of the SUV status of his car and putting 2 wheels into the dirt. Not sure how well that's going to help him, though.
It's not benefiting from any Japanese reg-style 4-wheel drive, though. So I don't think that would have been any advantage at all.
Once again, they just spread out through this back section.
Campbell and Eversley then still going at it for turn 9 through the sweeper.
Best of the rest here, it seems.
Estra then, will he pull the same move? It looks like he's trying to. And
he's going to do it.
He
Just
has.
about. That's very precision perfect. He's been practicing that one, clearly. Can he catch the Golf in front and pull the same manoeuvre, I wonder?
And with it almost being halfway, can he end up getting close to that top 8 pack, which is effectively, as luck would have it, the Works Brigade. It's a clear-cut separation between the factory efforts, give or take their status, and all these privateers and second season teams.
Yeah, aside for one or two little
discrepancies, I suppose.
That's the word I'm looking for, thank you very much. Brain is thinking of Pitsonia in the Alfa Romeo in the top 8, and then Mayfield here battling with all the privateers in his manufactured car. Otherwise, you are correct.
Brain is thinking how warm it is.
Mayfield having a little look on Van der Gaard, see if he wants to try and get past.
He's getting used to
surroundings. Going to try it again. Round the outside he
well
goes.
Then.
Clears the Golf well before the apex of the corner. Campbell is going to have the straight line speed on the Mazda, though, presumably. Let's see if he can make anything of it into turn 1. Here he comes again. It's a drag race.
And as well you know by now, this is the battle for pole for race 2.
Yes, so Estre now has pole position, though he wants the extra points of 9th place. Eversley just on the outside looking in, so if either of these two cars makes a mistake, then she is there to pounce. Van der Gaard now having lost a place. He's now still on the defensive. He's got a pair of BMWs now behind him, the 2 Turner Motorsport teammates. Hugh just completely missed the apex there. Fortunately, it hasn't done him too much harm. Using a lot more of the circuit than the Golf in front. I wonder if they can do anything similar to what Loic Estre just did in the Mazda further up there. Quite a bit of gap, but he's closing. He's going to look at it, and there it is, with a slide for good measure.
So these Euro BMW still show they have got the grunt. Whereas the brand new ones are still damaging both of these Ferraris. And the Mazda still in tow. What's going to change? Montoya giving a go? Oh.
Yeah, they're all just line astern. They're all right there. This feels like it's a bit of a tinderbox that could go at any minute. Schneider has a little bit of a look. Trying to get third place. Is about alongside. Not quite though. Backs out of it.
Now, something we have to make note of here. This race has gone by incredibly quickly. Normally, second half, we're getting into the sort of 10-11 minute mark. We're just still under 10 minutes with what is effectively going to be 4 laps to go once they hit the timing beam shortly. Incredibly quick race.
Yeah, I wonder if the series organisers will click on an extra couple of laps for race 2 just to counterbalance things. Look at that speed from the Mazda.
Now things get interesting.
Loses it again immediately on turn 1. Good try, good try.
The status quo of rear-wheel drive Alpha BMW competition and dominance, resembling last season's and perhaps season before that World Championship, give or take this particular privateer Mazda, no matter what colour it is, being broken down by these very well prepared and very tall Mazdas.
Yeah, Pitsonia continuing to be the thorn in the side with that privateer Alfa Romeo right there. This lead group have now dropped Wickens, and Wickens is now on the defensive from the scrum for 10th place, which has now been joined by pretty much everybody else almost.
This is where my cynical side comes in. Will Ford want pole?
Well, yes, but I don't know if they'll play
not in this way.
Slightly dirty to get it. I think Wickens would rather the extra points that 8th place gives. And he's got a bit of breathing room between Campbell and Eversley right now. Campbell having to be on the defensive. Here comes Estre again round the outside. Oh dear!
And that's all the effort gone to waste. Tyre barrier prevented that going into the crowd. Very good safety measure indeed, but that is going to hurt Estre's day. He was looking at potentially, not that there is a driver of the day, but that was certainly going to put him in the nominations. And Hobbs showing how well, despite the lack of a rookie badge, the inexperience was showing right there.
Yeah, that was I mean, Estre did in fact complete the resafe jointly. Hobbs just had all the room to manoeuvre around him and just decided to hit the brakes and bonk the back bumper instead. Not entirely sure what he was thinking there.
And once that was happening, Tagliani has managed to claim fourth, 2.5 laps to go. Newgarden still holding the fastest lap then.
Yeah, Newgarden has been in control of this race from the get-go. He's had to do a bit of defensive measures from De Ferran in the Alpha, but De Ferran has now fallen back a little bit, given Newgarden some breathing room, which is probably going to allow him just to complete off these last few laps without incident, unless he makes a somewhat major mistake. Can Tagliani take third place? He's looking a bit racy right now. The personal best.
Power is there. Mazda's presence in America being very useful to the team. Support is definitely there for them to be battling these two at the front.
Yeah, managing to hold good pace around these long corners with the rear-wheel drive cars, which is where a lot of the other fronties are struggling a little bit.
Will the balcony get a good view of this being a change for P3? not in the slightest this time by. One more chance for them to see it at close range, whilst getting a decent view of the entire circuit for the rest of it. Newgarden still leads in Montoya, but Tagliani wants that podium, and perhaps quietly, should we say, so does Schneider, having fallen back to 5th.
Yeah, Schneider, of course, won the very first race this season, so she's already ticked that one off, got that monkey off her back. And she'll be happy with 5th place, because it's still good points if we're talking, you know, long-term championship ideas. Even though it's only round 2, it's never too early to start thinking about that. Spread out a little bit down the start-finish straight. There goes Schneider back again. I think Tagliani got boxed in a little bit behind Montoya's Alpha.
Turn 9 perhaps. Schneider getting aggressive. Mazda back to 5th. Through the rabbits here one more time. So no actual change to proceedings then. All the effort in the world.
Yeah, a little bit of squabbling, but ultimately everyone is exactly where they were.
And this, the race winner, given the timing in the bottom left of the screen, could just break under the 15-minute mark. Yeah, the organisers will no doubt want to bump this up by 3 more laps for race 2. They've done it before.
Yeah, we have seen it before. I just don't know. The other thing that I'm unsure of is if this track has any noise limit complaints or anything to that effect, limiting the race length. But either way,
not the most entertaining of battles, but the record could be broken. Oh well, 15 minutes just above, but it's still going to be one for the record books. Not in the most entertaining of ways, I guess, unless you're a mid-pack runner, because Wickens now 8th, Campbell, Mayfield, Ford will be at the front for race 2. We were expecting to see a Mazda there, but with about 3 laps to go, Estra's entertaining moves. The same move bit him in the end, running wide, but still getting 18th, if not for points, but for pride. Hobbs still struggling in 19th and last then. As everyone gets to take a breather, perhaps the heat might imply the reason for a 15-minute race, or thereabouts. But Newgarden breaking the fastest lap with 4 to go as well, having broke it earlier on lap 2 or lap 3. But it was relatively unchanged, unless for the threat of the Tagliani-driven SUV shape Mazda that we're very welcome to see in the championship. How was it for you, Swinny?
yeah, you could tell a lot of drivers were just feeling it out there. As I say, this track doesn't really host much racing anymore, not since the 60s. So hopefully they'll be a little bit more confident coming to race 2. Also, the temperature is definitely a factor here. You know, it's a hot piece of tarmac. It's going to be burning up tyres very, very quickly, especially with a lot of these long, sweeping corners that just eat tyre wear up. So who's to say? We'll see what happens with the lap count for race 2. We'll see what happens with Ford and Ryan Campbell's Golf occupying the top 3 spots on the grid there. But with Pitsonia's Alfa Romeo right behind them, it wouldn't surprise me if we see a different privateer in the lead come turn 1. But as I say, we'll just have to wait and see.
And we will have to wait and see what happens with the drivers' standings then, as Sophia Schneider being still a favourite. Will she be able to maintain that by the end of the second race as well? As it begins to cool down here a little bit, we'll see what it's like for race 2. On behalf of Michael Swinnerton, this is Adrian Michael Rees. We'll see you soon. Good racing, everyone. It's still daylight, it's still sunshine here at the Big Willow circuit around Willow Springs. The widest of the variants. Yeah, God forbid we use the streets or the horse thief mile circuit ever in world or American Super Touring. This is race 2. You see Fords at the front, and you also see an additional almost sizable chunk of laps being added to this particular race. It was something we didn't quite know about until we spoke to race officials. Swinney and Michael Swinnett alongside me. Goodyear were being extra careful with race 1, and this was effectively the expected lap we were going to make around here. Goodyear wanted that to be a bit of a safety measure for race 1 that they are absolutely okay with for race 2. You can confirm as much of that as well, Swinney, can't you?
Yeah, pretty much that was what it was. They were just Goodyear were a little bit worried about old rough tarmac in very hot weather leading to melted rubber, which didn't happen, so here we are, we're good to go.
So no curfew, no noise worries. Flat out loud and proud for the Fords, the mid-pack, and what I accidentally called Ferraris, Alfa Romeos in the mid-pack as well. Away they go then. There's one Ferrari Alfa right now trying to make a battle for the lead. The Verizon liveried Privateer 5G Motorsports Alfa then. Subdued clean getaway again. Driver still being very careful on the tyres perhaps, as Mayfield leads previous race winner in that car around here, Ryan Campbell then, as they head to the balcony for the crowd to get a good glimpse again.
Yeah, once again, everyone very nice and neat and ordered. Pitsonia got blocked in a little bit at turn 1, which is stopped his progress a little bit, but he's still there in 4th, which is a good result. Campbell splitting the 2 Fords currently, doing a decent job.
We might see a bit more dust as they are a bit more aggressive this time by giving the Goodyear go ahead.
A little bit of squabbling here between the 2 Mazdas and the 2 BMWs at the back end of the top 10 here. Tagliani just trying to stick his nose in, not quite making that one work. He's got to be careful because there's Helio De Ferran right behind him in the Alfa Romeo, as well as a gaggle of other cars.
Are we going to see some superb outside moves through turn 9 this time by? Extra might want to do some of those again, but be a bit more wary of his surroundings this time. Tagliani there, 9th. Schneider not in the best position for leading at the end of this championship. P8, depends on whatever else everyone else does. Or Suarez then.
Yeah, we'll see if Schneider can start picking off cars one by one as they get a little bit more spread out. And of course, Loic Estre is definitely going to have a bit between his teeth to show just how much speed he actually had in that car before accidentally throwing it off and putting it in the barrier in quite a spectacular fashion. You see alpha on alpha action here.
Works down the inside, kicking up the dust.
They're still too wide. Pitonia's going to have the preferred line through here, going to clear it off again. So Pitsonia keeps the place for now, but that is allowing the front 3 to get away a little bit, even if Wickens is looking very threatening all over the back of Campbell's Golf. Wickens, of course, does have track experience around here, being in this series last season, whereas Campbell doesn't. The car is a race winner, but he is a rookie.
Yeah, apologies for the lack of continuity there. It is the car that won last season. So, Estre then 2 places higher than he was at the end of race 1. Looking to make progress, no doubt. Campbell now being a definite cork through the rabbits here then. Mid-pack closing in.
Tagliani once again looking a bit threatening towards the back of Schneider. But at the same time, De Ferran still there. So we see another move from Montoya. He's trying the same thing again. He might just make it work this time. just about. Can he clear it off? I think they're still too wide. Can't quite see through the dust. There we go.
So for 3 laps in a row, that Alpha is kicking up dust at the balcony.
I think a lot of cars are kicking up dust at the balcony.
This might prove risky if those tyres are meant to handle 17 laps on a clean set. We'll just have to see by the end of the race then. Suarez then 6th. Touring car experience, of course, the Mexican, former World Championship driver. Still getting the grips with that tall boy in the Mazda.
Yeah, he's got a good amount of experience with front-wheel drive, so it'll be the weight distribution that'll be the learning curve here.
Tagliani then on Schneider.
And he goes through. Don't know if he'll be able to keep the place.
Not too sure if we saw how aggressive that was as well. De Ferran's Alpha then also still stuck in P10. Similar echoes of World Super's race 2 inconsistency then.
Yeah, there's a definite bigger train
dust
of cars this time rather than last time. Mayfield has got a slight lead over Campbell, a little bit of breathing room, but Campbell is definitely on the defensive and has been for the past couple of laps. So the Golf has got the pulling power down the straight, but the Ford is slightly better through the turns.
Pressure's on then. Turn 9 coming up.
We'll have to see who gets the better run coming out of turn 9. As we see the two Mazdas going side by side back there, so they're having a little inter-team squabble.
Wickens had a better run, but the Alpha of Pitsonia did look like it had a better power out of turn 9. But then so did Montoya, and so did Newgarden.
There was a bit of contact
Is
there,
that
I
too
think,
wide?
on Newgarden to
Lovely.
Montoya. Everyone getting pulled along in each other's slipstream there. And there goes Newgarden, taking the place off of Montoya. So he is now sandwiched between a pair of Alfa Romeos.
How the turns table.
Newgarden
Mayfield
now
then
trying
still
the same move as Montoya did on Pitsonia. We know how well that one goes.
Newgarden looking good, having won race 1 then.
Yeah, he's definitely got the feel for this circuit. Having spent last season in a Mini racing around Europe. So, very different kettle of fish compared to this, but it proves he can step into almost anything and be quick with it.
Sun is now beginning to set. That's going to be a distraction if this is, in the eyes of the drivers, for what looks to be Castrol Corner then. Estray up to 14th as quickly as that. Almost a place every single lap, so man on a mission, no doubt. We saw the end of race 1.
Yeah, he's got himself back into the points for now, but Adrian Jourdain Jr. not taking that too lying down. Give each other room. So Estray still in the points. Of course, 15th is the last points paying position here, getting you just a singular point. So it's a lot better than 16th. But he's definitely going to be one to be back further up the grid, racing with the rest of the lot for top 10, because that's where he feels like he can get to. That's where he feels like he's got the speed for. He's just got a lot of traffic to get through first.
And a lot of traffic it is, because Campbell is chasing down Mayfield now. We were expecting that cork at the front to be Campbell with a gap to the leader, but he has now closed in.
Yeah, Mayfield now ahead of a much larger train. Par for a couple of stragglers. Pretty much everybody is in this lead group. We'll see who blinks first and who tries to pull a manoeuvre on whom. Schneider now looking a bit racy on Pitsonia, so she's overtaken Montoya at some point. We've missed that. So
And
he
it's
just
still
covers off the line
ahead.
into turn 1. Everyone just running their lines. Estre now down to 16th, so he's out the points.
I wonder if that incident actually shook him up more than we expected. Mayfield then still leads. Campbell not closing in.
Although Newgarden is now up to 3rd, so that must have happened over the top of the hill there. So Newgarden definitely on a mission here after winning race 1. He's got the confidence and the car underneath him. Let's see what he can do to this Golf in front.
Very rarely do we see a double 2 race wins in one weekend, especially with the reverse grid. Tagliani still holding the fastest lap then, even though he's in 8th.
Yeah, it is doable. Last notable person to have done it was Gianni Liozzi in the European Super Touring Championship, where he went on a bit of a tear in that Hyundai. The Golf has got that straight line speed. This is kind of what I was expecting, and hello, there's a Ford on our inside.
Does Wickens. So giving us a glimpse of what actually happened, but the other way around. And then a replay of it as Newgarden back ahead of Wickens through the rabbits here then. Mayfield clipping the fastest lap whilst we saw those onboards.
Yeah, he's using the time, or the breathing room that Newgarden is giving him by harassing Campbell. It's a good use by putting in a fastest lap and trying to pull away from this mess. A bit more squabbling going on now in the mid-pack.
Montoya ahead of Tagliani. Suarez and De Ferran. We're going to take what's left of the major points paying positions.
A bit more of a split happening with Scott Hume there in 12th. It's got a bit of a gap between Van der Garde in 13th. Ooh, another bit of a slide. Those 2 BMWs like to get out on the marbles that are around the last corner there, which I think is causing their oversteer moments. You've got to be careful that they don't repeat Estre's woes in turn 1.
And with a longer race than previous, that's going to be even more prominent, no doubt. And that's good you check that one off as well.
I'm sure they ticked all the boxes, giving the go-ahead for this longer race here. Meanwhile, squabble between the 2 BMWs as to who wants the last podium position. Schneider has worked her way through the traffic, threatening her teammate. Going all the way around the outside. You can do it. There is enough banking in these corners. She's going to have the preferred line into this next braking zone. Should be able to take it off her teammate there. There she goes, and Wickens follows through.
Wickens still trying to get that podium place back.
Here comes Montoya trying to pick up the pieces now.
Despite showing a lack of experience in front-wheel drive race 1, Wickens has put up a fight this time by, but the fight is still strong amongst the mid-pack behind him.
Campbell now has caught back up to Mayfield. So this is essentially a multi-car train for the lead. Wickens now going on the defensive against Newgarden. Is he going to be able to run it all the way around the outside on the Ford? I think he might. Can hold the momentum. Wickens gives him room, but still has the line and the position. But this is not over yet. And there goes Montoya now having a look.
Definitely on the inside for the balcony. Will Pitsonia also... No, Newgarden still holding on to 6th then.
Just about
time.
I don't think Montoya's grip on 5th is completely certified yet, although now it is. So Newgarden had a burst of speed, looked pretty threatening, and has now fallen back quite a few positions. So we're starting to see some squabbling and some shuffling in this top pack here. It looks like Pitsoni is going to be on the defensive from the two Mazdas. We've seen they've got good straight line speed in race 1. Will they be able to use each other's slipstream effectively here?
Fantastic shot of the battle across the line.
Just all line astern right now. Everybody calming down for the moment, he says, as we start going too wide through the balcony again. Newgarden coming back on Montoya, so he's recuperated.
Well, West there's still battling in the midfield. This is where the acid test comes into play now. Will these Goodyears, confident as Goodyear were, last the next 5-7 minutes of racing? We've already, meaningless as it sounds, 15 minutes are up, so race 1 was definitely quicker, hotter time of day, faster lap.
Yep, as soon as Mayfield crosses the line, we will be in overtime, essentially. And he's got a huge lead once again, so that keeps yo-yoing back and forth. Campbell catches up and then loses time.
And the Wickens Ford still has enough of a fight in it as well. Schneider, though, once rid of this particular yellow lump in front.
Yeah, a lot of people have been staring at the back of this Golf now, and Campbell has been doing a very, very good job of placing the car in the right place to make sure where his car might be a little bit weaker. Oh, have I just commentator's cursed you? I think I have. There goes Schneider.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Schneider at the second then. But sillier things have happened. Campbell has managed to get second place back. Wickens managed to get third place back. Schneider, though, on a flyer. And so was Newgarden. We saw him up as high as third, falling back to 7th once again. And this string of cars now going back to what looks like P12. Still not freeing.
Yeah, I think Newgarden has the quicker car. He just keeps getting unfortunate with placements with traffic around him. Oh, another wiggle from Hume there.
I had a glimpse of him earlier, but this has been a surprisingly... he's been quiet all weekend, as Hume. Now, business end of the race coming into play, has the Turner team, maybe not Bortolotti, managed to conserve most of the tyre for this final stretch.
It may seem that way. The Turner team, Hume and Bortolotti, had a bit of an up and down season last year. They had some very good results and some very forgettable results, so hopefully they've gone through the majority of their learning curve and can start finding a bit more consistency. They've got a car in the points so far.
Schneider's experience coming at the fore now, having overtook P2, that was definite cork in the bottle moment, because she is all over the back of Mayfield. Had Hume been any quicker, fastest lap right there, he could have been potentially on for the win, no doubt as well.
That's impressive, considering Scott Hume is outside the top 10 and looking in right now, in amongst the scrum of cars. I wonder if Slipstream helped in there. Schneider gaining on Mayfield. Who's going to get the better run out the last corner and be able to take each other into turn 1? Schneider's right there. She's in the slipstream. Pulls out, has a little look. We can see the Ford pulling away, though. There's that front-wheel drive speed, straight-line speed.
And there's that complete lack of rear tyre grip, the camber so high. And the rear-wheel drive, or rear wheels of the Ford, as compared to the rear-wheel drive BMW, which is still close enough to be a threat into the balcony.
Yeah, Schneider doing a good job of piling on the pressure, but then equally Mayfield doing a very good job of taking that pressure and dealing with it and not bending.
Dealt with it again.
While the scrum
New
continues,
Garden.
more too wide.
Threatening P6 then. Is it on round the outside of the balcony?
It is doable, there is enough banking. He'll now have the preferred line into here. There we go, he's now clear of Pitsonia. For how long, we don't know. Can Newgarden get on the back of Montoya and start working his way back up the order? Or will he get boxed in by traffic again?
So no doubt Campbell in the cork-based Volkswagen holding this lot up, which is allowing him, oh my words, outside of turn 9 was a gamble, but De Ferran still holds on to it.
That was a good attempt. Estre now up to 13th, so I think he's been pulling some crazy outside manoeuvres like he did in turn 1, just having them actually pay off this time. Campbell finally loses the podium.
Is the fight still in it though?
He's done a very good job defending, despite losing a couple of positions. He's only got a couple of laps left. He can still come away with a very good result here. Newgarden and Pitsonia haven't finished their little fight.
Montoya is definitely threatening Campbell with a bit of aggression, and so is Pitsonia. Back ahead of Newgarden then. 2.5 to go. Schneider and Mayfield clearing the crowd, so it's obvious that the Menards privateer Volkswagen was holding everyone up this whole time, despite the very well prepared Volkswagen effort. Montoya should and well could get ahead, but the power of that Volkswagen is still doing it justice.
Well, we've always known that the Golf is at its best in a straight line and has the highest top-end speed of any Super Touring car.
Estre with the fastest lap.
Estre with the fastest lap, so he's found some space to really stretch the Mazda out. And there he is on the back of this train, look. 13th place. Racing Scott Hume. So he's definitely made up for his race 1 blunder.
We see the BMW of Newgarden falling back even further now. He's in the clutches of at least one of the Mazdas.
Yeah, Tagliani's got round to Ferran. And they're just sort of there. Newgarden now with a bit of a gap between cars both in front of him and behind him. So I think where he was the faster car, I think he might have used up some tyres too much and just be on the get it home strategy now.
We're torn. We're kind of hoping that Schneider, still close to Mayfield in the lead, would have been side by side before Castrol. That's not happening yet, so we'll still focus on the mid-pack. The entertaining battle here as Campbell still holds up at least 2 of these Alphas, 3 of the Alphas, 2 Mazdas. And a BMW.
Campbell still doing a very good job holding everybody up here. Pitsonia looking a bit racy. Through the balcony for the last time then comes the squabble.
And what a squabble it has been. One of the more entertaining mid-pack battles in a still fledgling championship, of course. Second season for these cars, first season for them outright, and showing already all the hallmarks of a classic Super Touring Championship, if ever there's going to be one. Mayfield then still holding on to the lead through turn 9, the final turn then, but will Schneider have it prepped and lined up ready for a side-by-side battle across the line. Is it on? I don't think it is. Mayfield then and Ford getting another win. This is his second, having done so well at Grand Valley, Route Highway 1. And the 15 points pay positions claimed just like that as well. Estray then also getting a fastest lap. Bittersweet considering he could have done so much better in race 1, but getting fastest lap points not to be sniffed at as the cloud cover starts to come in as well. I think we've timed this as well for any rain that could have hindered proceedings as well. As the rest of them cross the line, then Tuero and Lawrence and 3M have almost, they shouldn't be considered have a go heroes because they've gone and been heroes. They have been race winners. So this is a bit of a surprise considering, but it's still a very early start to their commitment to this championship. No doubt we'll have to see how that pans out in the next race, which is going to be at the shorter NASCAR variant of the Watkins Glen course. Another fast one, another similarly hilly and fast one as well. But for that second race, then it kind of hit most of the sweet spots of a touring car classic race there, Swinny.
Yeah, absolutely. There was a lot of tripping over each other, which we've come to expect from this this classification, this category of racing car. And yeah, well done to Elliot Mayfield, his first win in front-wheel drive machinery, showing that that he's getting through the learning curve, as it were, and that this old historic circuit can host modern equipment and still put on a entertaining enough product for the fans.
So with Newgarden getting his first win in the season, it's still Mayfield with 2 wins now. And that does in fact put him in the lead of the Drivers' Championship as of round 2. Still early to gauge because that is only 4 points clear of a very well competitive Sophia Schneider this weekend as well. AJ Newgarden taking it up to 3rd on 65. Wickens finished 3rd here, putting him down a step because he was 3rd after Grand Valley, but still early doors, so still hard to tell. The for the Alpha then, he did it again, it's the hot weather. The DeFerran Alpha on 50 points. As for the teams then, Ford setting their stall out, but it's the BMWs with their more consistent finishes that have gone and scraped ahead of them now by a 10-point gap, where it was a 4-point advantage to Ford after round 1. Like I said, still early days yet, with Alpha obviously 3rd, considering where they were this weekend too. As for the independent teams then, the Barn Burner Golf, no doubt, grabbed your attention with the Dayglow visual, but it's grabbed the lead of that championship away from both of the Ohio-based Hondas, who were almost non-existent. That's how quiet we were with them. We didn't even really see the Cincinnati down the side of their cars to a degree, so they only got up to 40 points after this weekend, and it still means that the Stenhouse Motorsports, that's the Loic Estray car, still managing to keep P3 despite the mistakes of race 1. The fastest lap doing the business for them in race 2 then. Another good weekend, and no doubt we'll expect this is the same on the East Coast in New Jersey. Watkins Glen there, Swinney. Do you think it'll echo what we saw around here?
Potentially, we've got a little bit more slight technicality with the bus stop chicane. We'll have to see how brave people are going up the hill through the S's. I daren't make a prediction on who could win those races because we've seen a lot of pace and a lot of speed from a lot of cars so far. So it could be that Schneider and Newgarden continue to prove that they're the quickest, or we could see the Alfa Romeos come flourish, or even a somewhat surprise win from a Mazda, or even a privateer. It's genuinely too hard to say right now.
So you'd still say it was early. We can't. I mean, I daren't predict who's going to win this championship as well.
Oh yeah, championship is even more so. I was more thinking just Watkins Glen race winners. But yeah,
Of
no,
course.
it's far too early to call. Obviously, you've got to think about the championship because you've got to think about the championship from day one. But for predictions, it's far too open right now. There are too many teams that are proving that they've got too much speed in them at the minute. So, which is good news for us because we get to see the better squabbles, as it were.
So whilst that will be the next American round, before that, no doubt you'll see us commentate around Bathurst for the second event of the World Supers and Series 6 as well. So on behalf of Michael Swinnerton, this is Adrian Michael Rees. We're getting a plane across the Pacific. Good racing, everyone.